Who's going to be a Sooner down the road? Jaden O'Neal. He transferred to the Sooner State. Let's discuss what that means. Coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there, everydayers. My brain just got mushy just for a second there. Thanks for subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. So Jaden O'Neal, 4-star quarterback commit for the Oklahoma Sooners, who has been committed since June of 2024. Is transferring to play for Mustang. What's their mascot at Mustang? I'm blanking on it.
Broncos?
I'm sorry to all the Mustang folks that I know. I lived in Yukon for a time, so not fully familiar on. I know the Yukon Miners, but I can't think of Mustang.
Broncos.
Okay. Anyway, he's going to go be a Bronco.
Similar logo as the Denver Broncos, but that was an intriguing move that Toby Rowland kind of announced it, and then Brandon Drum kind of confirmed, showed some pictures of Jayden at the school, and I believe they moved in this week, and he'll start classes next week, and he'll get ready for practices next week. So he'll be able to participate in spring ball, which is pretty exciting. So he moves here from California, so that gets him closer to Norman. And in the articles I was reading about it, it sounds like that was always been the goal for a few months. I remember talking to them myself, and that was something that they mentioned to me that was being worked through, and they was, just trying to get things settled. But the goal is to be closer to Oklahoma, be able to get to more games, get to campus more often, to be able to, do a lot more peer recruiting and play some big time football. I know that out there in California, they had an issue where they had some opponents that forfeited because they felt like it was playing against a stacked team because they had some transfers that came in. And so this eliminates that. They come out here. He's going to be playing some good 6A Oklahoma football. And hopefully he can go out there, show out, and get his rankings back because he had a pretty significant drop over the last couple of weeks.
Which is odd to me. It's really, really odd to me. The guy lights up California high school football and somehow drops in the rankings. I don't know. I don't know. And also went and won I can't remember what the award was at the Rivals camp, but it was like the Golden Ball Award at a Rivals camp out in California just recently. The dude's a really good player. Sometimes you look at the rankings and the way things go. And I have this question about the other quarterback that they're recruiting in 2026. Because he really flew up the rankings. Like nobody really was talking about him 6 months ago. And then all of a sudden he's a top 10 quarterback in the class. Anyway, back to Jaden O'Neal. I think this is huge because I think it does indicate things are continuing to move forward with Oklahoma. He's being pursued everywhere else. Like Georgia is coming after him. He's got a very heavy list of Power 4 teams that are trying to lure him away from Oklahoma, but he is still committed to Oklahoma. And he doesn't make this move. He doesn't make this move to Mustang, Oklahoma, unless Oklahoma is equally committed to him. And there's been, speculation about the offer to Bo Bentley and what that all means. Whatever it means, Jaden O'Neal, I think, is still going to be a Sooner. Now, obviously,
I totally agree.
9 months till the early signing period. But to me, this means more significantly that he will be in the Crimson and Cream.
I agree. The way you look at it, where I've looked at it is that to me was the ultimate sign of commitment to Oklahoma, or at least a commitment to let me see if this is really where I want to be. If Oklahoma is the place to be for me, if it is, boom, I'm already here. I'm close and all that. But if it's not, he's also in a more centralized location for a lot of schools that's also trying to pursue him to make it easier to make a decision if he wants to make a change. And yeah, the Bo Bentley offer was always an intriguing one. It sounds like, and I think I saw in an interview that Jaden O'Neal had done, I think it was with On 3, and they asked him about that, and he was like, he was wondering about, had questions or whatnot, and the school reassured him they wanted to bring in a second quarterback, more so that they can have not only competition but additional depth at QB. And next segment, I'll explain why that now makes sense to me. But He said he got it. He got it, and he saw, that it made sense. And if you really think about it, too, it's in the NIL era, a lot of players are a lot cheaper when they come in from high school, price-wise, especially when you're dealing with a salary cap in comparison to going for transfers. Unless you go get a transfer that you bring from a lower level that everyone's going to complain about, you need to have yourself some good scouting quarterbacks, some talent. Mm-hmm. You got to have talent that your defense needs to see in preparation for games, regardless. So I think it'll be a good competition. I really like Jaden O'Neal a lot. I do like Bo Bentley's game as well, but I think Jaden O'Neal will be just fine here. But this feels like a solid commitment to Oklahoma. And again, pure recruiting. He's recruiting guys in state, from Caden Jones up there in the Jinx area, Tulsa boy, the son of Kewan Jones, former OU running back. He's looking at Mason James that's down there in Norman, right? You've got, Jacoby Johnson's brothers are at Mustang. And so he could be doing some peer recruiting with them. So I sense that his big thing is trying to get a lot of the Oklahoma talent on top of, being able to recruit closer talent like Texas. You got some North Texas boys, some guys in Kansas City area, which has been booming. Heck, Florida. He's already got connections in California. Now it's time to build those connections down the line. That way he has a chance of bringing in some more people.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get on campus pretty easily for whatever recruiting event Oklahoma wants him to be at.
Yep.
And this is just kind of that first step in showing that leadership capability. Now, we saw the same thing with Kevin Sperry, right? He transferred to Carl Albert, played a season, and then went to Denton Geyer. And over the course of the couple years that he was committed, ended up transferring or flipping his commitment to Florida State. So nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is set in stone until the dude signs that financial aid agreement. That's what it's called now. Not the national letter of intent, but the financial aid agreement. But I still feel pretty confident. And the dude is a good quarterback, man. He is a really, really good passer. He can throw all the throws. He's got accuracy. I mean, he's really, really good. And I think we look at recruiting rankings and, okay, that's fine. At the same time, like, the coaches that are evaluating him, they believe in what he's made of. And so I think this is going to be a big time pickup for Oklahoma down the road. If they also add Bo Bentley, I mean, that's just icing on the cake. And it really is. And you get two really good quarterbacks that you can compete with and you can develop, because if things go according to plan, I think what Jay is going to talk about in the next segment, you might need a big time quarterback competition next season. We're going to discuss that, plus the gains that the Sooners made in the offseason program. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On.